Hello all, this is Dr. Boney. You can call me Dr. B or Dr. Boney. I will be your instructor for MMSC270 at UD. So I'm going to kind of go over how the course works so you can understand what it is you need to do in a timely manner. So first thing we're going to do obviously is go to the syllabus here and take a look at some parts of this. I'm not going to go over all the parts obviously. You can do that later. So obviously there's my email, boney@udel.edu. This is all the different standards for the course. This is the exams are online with a proctored software. I'll talk about that later. And all the work, including the point of view simulated labs, are all online. And so that's all performed through Canvas. So grading scale, here you go. Lecture 75 and labs 25 broken down accordingly. The thing that's the most important is this document. This kind of lets you know when everything is due. And notice it's organized by weeks. So the first week, your job obviously is to watch the course orientation video, which you are clearly watching now, and to go ahead and cover chapter 1. And then your lab work for chapter 1 would be lab orientation and lab 1A and B. And those are due on 2/12/23. So that's basically Sunday. So you can see that they go by Sunday. Second week you have chapter 2, but then you also have an online quiz for chapter 1 and 2 that's due on 2/19, and you can have resources out for that. You can have resources out for labs and for quizzes, but obviously not the exam. We'll get to that later. So all the due dates are here. Aside from the online quiz and the lab work, you also have chapter assignments. You have one of them for chapter 1. You have one of them for chapter 2, and you have one of them from chapter 3, and those are all due 2/26/23 because that just happens to be the day before the exam. You take the exam on the 27th. You can take it anytime you want from 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. on the 27th, and again it will be online. So this will just repeat throughout the course. So let's just kind of see what all of this means. All right, so once we go here, you'll obviously be watching the video. The next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and register for something called Edpuzzle. This is a free system. It is how I do a lot of the lectures. These are simulated and animated and engaging, typically 5 to 8 or 9 minute videos, not much longer, to kind of help you with the content of the course. So let me just show you how to do that. So first thing you do is just click register for Edpuzzle, and it'll bring you to a page that looks like this. And then since you're not in Edpuzzle yet, you're going to go all the way up to the corner over here and you're going to hit sign up. And then you're going to go down here and click sign up with Edpuzzle. And obviously it will tell you, obviously it will say spring 23 when you do it. But you're just going to put your name, first name, last name, and then join the class. And then that's it. You don't do any homework from here. You access all of these lectures through Canvas. So I'm going to kind of talk about that in a few minutes, but that's what else you have to do. Just register for this. It's free. It's how I do all the lectures. It is not graded, but it is basically insanely important to the learning of the course. So if I go back now, going down here, the syllabus is obviously there. The next thing I want you to do is to click on this, which says free 5 points, easy test. So this is basically going to take you to and I'll click on it, but it might not work the same because I'm the teacher. Yeah, so this is locked for me, but when you go to this is where you're going to register for McGraw-Hill Connect. All of the assignments, and I'll kind of scroll down to those, all the lab activities, all the chapter assignments, and all the quizzes are all accessed through McGraw-Hill Connect, as well as your textbook. So by you just clicking this link right here will take you automatically to McGraw-Hill, where if you bought the textbook from the bookstore, there'll be an access code. You'll scratch that off and you will put the access code in there, and it will give you access for the semester. Or if you want another option, if and if you don't have financial aid, you can go ahead and just click on this link, open up McGraw-Hill, and throw in a credit card and pay for it directly that way without even having to worry about the UD bookstore. Either one is fine. When you get into that, you're going to go ahead and take a one-question, I shouldn't even call it test, a one-question quiz that basically is just, do you see this question? You answer yes. If you complete that, I'm going to give you 5 points added to your first exam. What that is I want to make sure that all the proctoring software works for the first exam before you take your actual first exam. The proctoring software will do things like lock your Control-Alt-Delete or lock your ability to copy paste or to open up another browser. It also is video recording you while you take the test. There is no human being watching you. It's just basically recording it. And then if it sees a discrepancy, like you got up or you're looking at, your lap a lot or something like that, it will send me an email to review the video. So I want to make sure that all that technology is working before you take the real exam. And so if you complete that, I will give you 5 points added to your first exam. And so that's kind of how that's going to work. So as far as the learning part of everything, and this goes back to a little bit of Edpuzzle. So here is basically how a unit is organized. So here is your Exam 1 study guide. And this is what's on the test. There is no trick questions. This is it. So you'll see here that these are all the topics, and anything in red is worth more points, and it's typically going to be some kind of like drag and drop or open-ended sentence or something like that that you would take for that. Then you have these other. There's the PowerPoint. I cut it down drastically. The book company gives me a PowerPoint with like 250 slides per chapter. It's kind of crazy. I cut them down to the ones that matter. And then what you're going to see are these things down here. Right here, you'll see that we have these things called Intro to Microorganisms and Intro to Biomolecules, and all the way down the line, these are a lot of the Edpuzzle lectures. So if you just click on one here, if you've already registered, it'll look something like this. And you'll see here that it has my name. I mean, it'll have your name once you do that. And basically what it is it's a mini video that has little, for lack of a better word, tick marks. And so those tick marks are, whoops, sorry about that, are basically embedded questions. You can see them down here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can watch this full screen like that. You can watch it on your phone. There's an app. And as you go along and watch the video, it will basically kind of, it's like a YouTube, but it's integrated. So, you'll watch the video, and then once it gets to the part where there's some sort of tick mark, it'll either ask you a question or a comment or something about that. And again, this is not graded, but this is how I do the lecture part. So, if I were to make, like an hour-long video, I'm sure you wouldn't watch it. I don't know if I'd watch an hour-long lecture video. It sounds pretty boring to me. But so I broke them up into a lot of them. So that's really what you would do, and you would go to the next one. You can see here when you're done, and this is just you take notes on it. This is a part where you would pretend like I am in front of you, and you would take notes as if I were teaching face-to-face. So these are all of the work, the content, obviously not including the textbook. And yes, you need your textbook. You need to read the chapters that are there. But a lot of students find that doing these first really helps. So for example, before you read chapter 1, go ahead and check out the PowerPoint and watch all the Edpuzzle video lectures, and then make sure you're sticking to your study guide, and then read it. And so that's kind of how you would do that. So from that, then we have the lab activities. And so this is, you would just literally click on any of these, and you will be sent right to McGraw-Hill, and it will be point of view, which means that you'll actually be doing the lab virtually, a lot of these, and collecting data and whatnot. And so that's kind of how those are organized. And then down here are your chapter homeworks. And then down here are your quizzes. So everything is here for you. I highly recommend you don't wait till like the last minute to do all this stuff. It's not supposed to be compliance. It's supposed to be to teach. So, please try to not wait till the night before everything's due. This material is new for most of you. You haven't had a lot of this stuff before in high school. So, I don't know that I could learn this the night before a test. I mean, it's very difficult material, so please schedule your time accordingly. And one more thing, since I made this video, this is about a week after I made the video. There's one little thing I added, just so you know. It doesn't change much of anything. In terms of the grading, the exams are now worth 60% of the 75, and there is an additional smart book assignment to help with the reading, and I'll show you what that is. So in terms of, and again, you'll be able to see all this when I fully open the course, but within each chapter, you'll notice it looks exactly like it did in the earlier part of the video, but there is an additional, for every single chapter, what's called a smart book assignment. You can literally access the chapter directly from here instead of having to go through McGraw-Hill, and it's a fundamental kind of like learning way to basically ensure that you're reading part of this. And so this is an absolutely great assignment. It also is going to help with your learning on the exams. So this is just one additional thing from the video, is that every chapter has a smart book assignment. This helps you with the basics. It's basically going to be a little bit of the reading from the book, all electronic, with you answering some questions. All that will help. So every chapter has that. And the only other additional thing is that at the end of the chapter, or I should say at the end of the, let me go back to the syllabus real quick. At the end of the syllabus for the final exam, you will notice that there are chapters that you need to know the diseases, basically what causes them and what not. These are all the diseases, and these will all be on your last exam on 5/24, and these are the chapters they're from. So basically you can start that anytime. But where you find those chapters is at the bottom of Canvas. So at the very bottom down here, you'll see, this will all be open to you later. These are the actual disease chapters, the full book. So you don't actually ever have to scroll to McGraw-Hill Connect to access the book. These are the straight up readings. There's no grades for these. It's just literally the book. Whereas the chapter smart books are little graded assignments for each one. So that's the only difference. There's nothing else different from the first part of the video. And so I look forward to meeting you via Zoom, and good luck. So that is what I wanted to show you. And if you have any questions, please let me know anytime. Otherwise, I'm happy to be your instructor and hope you have a great semester.